Hi, my name's Eddie Arthur. I work for Wycliffe Bible Translators as a theologian and a researcher. But over the years, I've also worked as a language learning consultant. I've taught courses for missionaries who are going to the field, advising them on what to do about learning a language in the future. I've mentored and coached language learners in different situations. And what I'd like to do is just give 3 very short videos, which I hope will help anyone who in a missionary situation who's thinking about learning a language. This first video will look at why we should learn a language. The second video will look at what we do when we learn a language. And the third one will look at how we should go about learning the language. I can't promise that these will revolutionize your language learning, and I certainly can't promise that they will make things instantly easier. There is no magic bullet for language learning, but I hope they will give you some inspiration and some ideas and will help with motivation. So the first thing, why should a missionary learn a language? After all, it takes a serious investment of time, energy and emotion to become fluent in a new language. So why actually do it? I think there are 3 reasons. The first is a pragmatic one. If you are sitting in a new situation, you're living in a new country, life will be easier if you can speak the language. You can deal with officials, you can make friends, you can go to church, you can do stuff. Life is just easier when you speak the language of the place that you're living in. Not only that, but pragmatically, people that you're ministering to, if you're sharing the gospel, we know that folks accept the gospel more easily when it is conveyed in their own language and in their own culture. If you want to minister to people, do so in their own language, and they are much more likely to accept what it is you're saying than if you work through a translator. The second reason is an emotional one. Learning a language, making new friends, becoming part of a different culture is incredibly satisfying. It's hard work, it's very difficult, but emotionally it is incredibly rewarding. And again, if you're going to live and thrive in a new society, you need to make friends in that society. And you need to make friends who are just normal people, not necessarily experts who happen to speak your language. And if you're going to make friends, if you're going to thrive, if your mental health is going to be good, learn the language. Get to know people, make friends. And the final reason is a theological one. I think it is important to learn the language for 2 reasons. Firstly, although language learning is rewarding, it is also at times humiliating. Making mistakes, you come out, you're a well-educated, well-rounded, confident person, and then all of a sudden, as you try to speak this new language, you become a complete and utter idiot. It feels difficult. But for the missionary, especially those of us who are Westerners, coming from a situation of power, of influence, with all the baggage of the West's dominance of the world, to be prepared to humble ourselves, to stoop down, to become like little children in the new society, speaks volumes. Some of the things that you will model as you learn a language and you show humility, you show willingness to make yourself look silly in order to bless, encourage and befriend others, things like that will speak far louder than many of your words at a later point. And the other theological reason is that this is what Jesus did. Jesus came down to the earth in a human culture, in a human language. He didn't just sort of come to generic humanity. He came into a specific situation and he talked to people, he ministered with them, he made friends, he came to us and he lived on our terms. And as missionaries walking in his footsteps, we need to do that. And that will involve humbling ourselves. So why should we learn a language? Pragmatically, it's effective, it makes life easier. emotionally it's rewarding and good for our mental health, and theologically it's important to model humility, and above everything else, we're following in Jesus' footsteps. So learn that language.